So I'm going to use dry pastels on indigo blue Canson paper. I've chosen quite a dark blue background so that I can work with lots of light. I did the drawing earlier using a pastel pencil, and then I taped it to a board. So I've got a photo here which is very small, but that's not a problem. I'm going to use off-white, a sort of Naples yellow. There are two ways of working, either in strokes like this, or with the flat edge. So I'm going to start by creating my light effects with strokes. Straight away, as my background is relatively dark, it stands out really well. As we go on, the lines will tend to disappear as I add other colors and put other pastels on top. I'm going to use a brown, and it's my, I would say, main color. First I look to see what effect it has with the blue, so it blends into the blue. It's almost complementary. And I'm also doing a test here to see how it works, how it mixes, and if I get a slight blend. And now I'm drawing again. I'm not doing a fold straight away. I'm just adding a few colors so that I can work calmly on the mare. Otherwise, if I mix the two, I'm going to have a mass of browns and we're not going to see too much. So now I've got my brown red in place. I'm going to use the brown that's here to reposition my shadow effects. I'm even taking this opportunity to reduce some of the outlines. I'm leaving the fold alone for the time being. So that's the first stage, putting on the three base colors. Now I'm going to use another to create a bit more warmth because I have the Naples yellow, which is really strong. I'm going to break it up with ochre. So here I'm working on both the light colors and the shadows. You can see if I'm going over my lines. So now I'm going to add just a little bit more oomph to see what effect that has. So I'm going to go back over it in black. So I'm going to start with an area that's not dangerous at all, the tail, and straight away it comes out. But I'm being careful too. I'm not falling into the trap putting everything in black. I'm letting the blue of the paper show through. So here I'm going back to my first base color, Naples yellow. I'm going to add very little and instead put some brown on top. I'm going to add some small flashes of light, again in strokes. I'm going to highlight the details of the muscles. I'm going to use all the colors that I had at the start, so browns. I'm also going to finish the mare. So now for a better view, and because I'm quite tall, I'm going to stand up to finish this horse. Now I'm really demonstrating my basic technique. And the foal is going to be done in the same way. Now I can create a bit more dynamism and a bit of modernity with shades that we don't see, i.e. blues, mauves. It gives me a bit more drama volume. We're moving away from reality. Now I want to show how I'm going to create a very simple background against the composition of the foal. See, I'm going to create movement like that. So that's the real composition. Now the illustration is finished. Of course, with a bit of detachment, you can always come back with a French perspective a few hours later. In general, I always end up with light, not with shadow. That's a personal thing. One little thing, when you have boxes like that are starting to be relatively big, instead of looking for your pastel every time, when I finish with a tool, I put it like that, sideways. You can find your pastel more easily.